Come here. Oh, come here. Oh. Did you say hi? Oh. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Robin, and today we are talking about the 10 books that I want to read this fall. Okay, so this is like my third time filming this. I tried filming this yesterday, but it ended up being like 90 some degrees, and it was so hot in this room that I needed the fan on, and then the fan totally messed up the audio. And then I've tried filming this today, but my dogs keep interrupting, so hopefully the noise isn't too terrible. I have the window open and it's a busy school day. The dogs are barking. Oh, hello, dog. So hopefully I can get through this TBR video. Every single season, I like to make a list of 10 books that I want to read throughout that season. And then at the end of that season, I like to look back and see how many of these books that I read. So I like to keep this list pretty realistic so that I'm not just making TBRs for the sake of making TBRs. I'd like to be able to look back on these and say, like, okay, I'm done with the book. Like, what should I pick up next? So I compiled 10 books that I'm really excited about. Some I have arcs of, some I'm just super anticipating. So yeah, let's just get right into the list. First up is one of my most anticipated books of the whole year, and that is A History of Wild Places by Shea Ernshaw. Shea Ernshaw wrote Wicked Deep as well as Winterwood, but this is her debut adult novel, and I absolutely love Shea Ernshaw's atmospheric settings. And from what I've gathered, this is going to be one of those as well. I believe this follows a man who only needs one object from a person in order to find them. So families will hire him to find missing members of their family. I believe this follows a man who is often hired to try to find missing people because all he needs in order to find somebody is one object of theirs. So I don't know if this has some magical elements. I'm assuming it is slightly magical knowing Shea Ernshaw. But I believe his latest case is he is trying to find a dark children's book author. And that is all I really know about it. Shea Ernshaw's stories are really atmospheric and lyrical, and I just kind of want to go into this one and experience it. Next up is Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood, and I know very little about this because all I needed to get excited about this book was to hear that it was a Jane Eyre retelling, but with demons. It is said to be a gothic horror that is a mix between Jane Eyre and The Exorcist, and I am both mildly terrified, more than a little mildly terrified, and really excited. I'm definitely reading this one in October. Next is When Night Breaks by Janella Angelis. This is the sequel to Where Dreams Descend, and I know Where Dreams Descend, it was a bit of a polarizing book, but I personally loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I adored the writing of it. It follows a magician who works at this house, and one day she flees that house and she runs to this little town that she could see out of her window. And once she's in that town, she enters into a magician's competition. And while she's in that competition, she starts learning about all these dark secrets about magic and about the town and the world at large. And at the end, there is this big, crazy scene that is honestly super confusing. And that is part of the reason why I'm so excited for the sequel, is I'm really excited to see like how all of that is explained, because as much as I loved that book, I found the ending really strange and confusing, and I'm excited to see how it all comes together and how it's explained and how this whole duology is wrapped up. So really excited for this one. Next up is Payback's the Witch by Lana Harper. This is an adult rom-com following witches. The main character is returning back to her hometown in order to enter into a spellcasting tournament, and while she's there, she runs into one of the girls that she knew from her past, and this girl tells her that they are seeking revenge on her ex-boyfriend because their ex-boyfriend was dating multiple women at once. And so all of these witches band together to try and exact their revenge on this guy. But meanwhile, the two of them start to fall in love. So it is a sapphic romance as well as a witchy book. I thought this would be great to kind of put in between some of the like creepier books. So it still has all of those like fall witchy vibes, but it's also like fun and lighthearted and romantic. So I thought those would be a great addition to my fall TBR. Next is another sequel, and that is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is the third and final book in the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. This series is possibly my favorite mystery series that I've ever read. Definitely my favorite YA mystery series. But this follows a teenage girl who, in book one, decides that she is going to try and solve her town's cold case for her senior project. And then while she is solving that cold case, she uncovers a lot of really, really dark secrets. And you kind of watch not only as she uncovers these really twisted mysteries, but you watch how doing all of that starts to impact her personally as well as mentally. And I really liked that exploration that Holly Jackson took throughout this series. I have no idea what the mystery element is in this third book. I didn't want to look, but each book follows a different mystery, but with the same characters. And I'm just really excited to be back with these characters and see how this whole series wraps up. I am not ready to say goodbye to this, but I am excited to see what Holly Jackson will write next. Next up is The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling, and this is actually the Literally Dead Book Club pick for November. I know this author had another book, I believe it was 2 years ago, called The Luminous Dead, that a lot of people really, really loved. And this is her latest book. I believe this one is another like a gothic thriller, and it follows a woman who decides to enter into a marriage of convenience. And the one rule is that she cannot ever go to this certain manor. But on their wedding night, she ends up fleeing to that manor. And when she gets there, she finds her new husband completely changed. And then in the next morning, when they both wake up, he is completely back to normal. But she realizes that the marriage that she thought that she was entering into isn't what she really got. This is supposed to be Crimson Peak inspired, which I've never seen, but I just thought I would throw that out there. I know that was a really, really popular show, so I'm really excited for this one. Next up is A Marvelous Light, and I am completely blanking on the author, and I do not have my computer next to me, but I will have it up on the screen. This is a historical fantasy mystery book, and I believe it's the start of a series. And this follows a character named Robin, which that's going to be weird. I don't think I've ever read a book with a character named Robin in it. But Robin is a average person, and he is accidentally chosen to be the liaison to a magical secret society, and he is suddenly thrust into this world of magic that he never knew existed. And so while he is there, he has to work with this other guy, and the two of them kind of have this enemies to lovers romance. And I believe that they are uncovering a mystery. I don't know what the mystery element is, but I'm really, really excited for this one. Next is another sequel, and that is Kingdom of the Cursed by Kerri Maniscalco, which is the sequel to Kingdom of the Wicked. Yeah? Oh, hello. You're both here now. Puppies have arrived. Please don't ruin my filming equipment. Thank you. Nope, nope, nope. Thank you. Okay. We're gonna pet a puppy while we keep filming. So, Kingdom of the Wicked came out last year, and I will say this did make my most disappointing books of the year, which I know is a super unpopular opinion, but I felt like there was some stuff in here that wasn't fleshed out enough, but I am still really excited for this sequel, because while I thought some of the fantasy elements in that weren't my favorite, I love Wrath, and I'm excited to be back in that romance and with these characters. I don't know anything about the sequel. It comes out, I believe, on like October 5th, and I plan to read it right away. So definitely reading this in October. Second to last book is The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. I'm gonna get that confused. By Erin Sterling. I believe this is a pen name for Rachel Hawkins, and this is her first foray into adult romance. This is another witchy romance, and this one follows a woman who curses her ex when they break up. And she doesn't really think that it's going to do much other than kind of like give him a couple of bad days. But years later, her ex returns to their town, and all of this crazy stuff starts to happen. And the two of them need to work together to try and save the town from all the havoc that her curse has brought upon them. And I believe the two of them fall back in love. So it's a second chance romance. It's witchy. Like I said, I'm going to need some more lighthearted books in between some of these scarier stories, since I am a big scaredy cat. So this is definitely on the list. Then the last book is A Spindle Splintered by Alex E. Harrow. I love Alex E. Harrow, and this is a really short retelling novella, and I believe this one is Sleeping Beauty inspired. From what I have gathered, I've tried not to look too much into the synopsis because I believe this is only like 200 pages long, but I believe it follows a heroine who knows that she's going to die on her 21st birthday, and so she and her best friend Charm, cute, start to throw a birthday party, and she accidentally pricks her finger, and she starts falling through all of these worlds where there are multiple Sleeping Beauties. From what I've heard, this is a really feminist retelling, so I'm excited to see what Alex E. Harrow does with this. Okay, so that is it for my fall TBR. I'm really excited about all of these books. I know not a single one of them I have physically. I'm really excited about this fall's releases, and so I didn't want to pick like a bunch of like random books off my TBR when I know that I'm going to be prioritizing a lot of these upcoming releases just because I'm so excited. So let me know what you are hoping to read this season down in the comments, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Hey Naga, can you say hi? Are you going to eat all my books? Can you say hi? Yeah, are you internet famous now? Yeah.